Hello there. So I threw the Senate at him. The whole Senate. True story.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
You made it come out of my nose.
Go for Papa Palpatine.
You have a collect call from
Darth Vader.
I gotta take this. Hold on. Vader, how's my favorite Sith? Whoa. Just slow down. Huh? What do you mean they blew up the Death Star? Oh, who's they? What the hell is an aluminum falcon? Okay, so who's left? Are you me? Well, where are you? Wait a sec, you've been flying around for 2 weeks trying to get a signal? Oh, you must smell like feet wrapped in leathery, burnt bacon. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought my Dark Lord of the Sith could protect a small thermal exhaust port that's only 2 meters wide. That thing wasn't even fully paid off yet. Do you have any idea what this is going to do to my credit? Hang on, I got another call. What? I'm very busy right now. Oh, well, where are they going? Huh, all right, just get me a turkey club. Coleslaw, I guess. I'm not even going to eat it. What are you getting? Yeah, see, I always order the wrong thing. No, I'll just stick with that. Okay, bye. Wait, what? Oh, cherry Coke. Thanks. Sorry about that. What? Oh, just rebuild it? Oh, that real f***ing original. And who's gonna give me a loan, jackhole? You? You got an ATM on that torso light bright? Now get your 7'2" asthmatic ass back here, or I'm gonna tell everyone what a whiny bitch you were about Padamame or Panda Bear or whatever the hell her name is. Oh, jeez, he's crying. Hey, come on, don't do that. Just, look, I'm just dealing with a lot of crap right now. Death Star blown up by a bunch of teenagers, I didn't mean to snap. Just get back here. Okay, bye. I love you too.
What I remember about the rise of the Empire is how quiet it was.
Yep.
During the waning hours of the Clone Wars, the 501st Legion was discreetly transferred back to Coruscant. It was a silent trip.
Yep.
Save it for the enemy!
We all knew what was about to happen, what we're about to do.
Knock it off!
Did we have any doubts? Any private, traitorous thoughts? Perhaps, but no one said a word. Not on the flight to Coruscant, not when Order 66 came down, and not when we marched into the Jedi Temple.
Yep.
Not a word.
I don't know. Call me crazy, but I don't think they deserve to have their bright futures ruined by a momentary, minute, never to be repeated lapse of judgment.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Hello, Star Wars fans. Jedi Business, Episode 12. How y'all doing out there? I got some more clips uploaded. I got some more videos to put in the background, while I'm talking about this show. Because, man, this show the Acolyte has garnered more attention than I think any other Star Wars show so far. And it's crazy because this doesn't even have any, legacy characters in it other than Ki-Adi-Mundi, we know from the prequels, which he shouldn't even be in it. We've covered that already. His birth date was 93 BBY, and now it's, I don't know, before 132 BBY. They're just retconned a lot of things. Him knowing about, I'm sure they're going to find out about the Sith, like the other Jedi that were at the temple. They've got to find out eventually. Unless just all the Jedi in this show get wiped out, besides the few that are at the temple. But we'll see about that. Anyways, about the show. I don't know if I've mentioned it on here. All the plot threads that make no sense. The character motivations changing on a dime. Things. Characters not doing things that make sense for their character in the in given situations. Uh, the things I wanted to highlight were about like this scene with OSHA finding what's his face, Torben, poisoned, and May escaped through the skylight. She gets it's one of those dumb contrived situations where a character finds a dead body, and then a lot of other people find them standing over that dead body, so naturally think they killed them. It's like, how often would a killer actually be standing over the dead body when you find, after they've been dead for a little while? They probably would have made their escape already. But right here, we have Yor defending her, whereas later in episode 6, which they just aired, what's his face, Chimere is telling her that Yord arrested you, for a crime you didn't commit. Where he was actually the one defending her out of the whole bunch. But the show writers tend to forget things from one episode to the next, like basic things about the characters and their interactions with other characters. They seem to think everyone else has forgotten too, including the characters themselves. The characters are only as intelligent as the writers. They can only be as intelligent as the writers, And then we have the council meeting. Mundi, a lot of nameless Jedi. We got Soul. Then we got Ro. I forget her first name. The green chick comes in. They're saying, well, maybe this is a splinter cell of Jedi, a splinter order is what they call it. Which I could see how that would be conceivable to them, that, a splinter cell of Jedi would just break off and form their own order outside of the traditional Jedi order. Oh, this actor's terrible, by the way. A lot of people pointed out how stupid that was about them lighting up the dead ones red. It's like, we know which ones died, you guys. But this is for the audience, okay? This is for the audience in case they forgot who actually freaking died. Like, you guys haven't been watching the last few episodes? Or what? The Wookiee Jedi, we barely get in the show at all before he's dead off screen, killed off screen. I'm wondering if they're going to show that death scene or not. They only have 2 episodes, so they're gonna let the wrap up. I kind of like his build, but I don't like the white robes. Mundi's face just looks horrible, and he doesn't sound like the old one. And they're saying, "Oh, she was definitely trained by someone, skilled in the Jedi arts." He's saying, "Oh well, her potential's not tapped. Like, she's still green, basically, but skilled. She already killed 2 Jedi. Well, one of them she convinced to kill himself, and I guess we'll find out why he decided to kill himself later. Maybe in the next episode. There's supposed to be another flashback episode. That's probably gonna be the next one. They've been teasing it because Soul keeps saying, "Oh, I'm gonna tell you what we did. I'm gonna tell you what happened. Okay, I'm gonna tell you." Then we get to this episode. This was episode 5 with discount Kylo Ren. I guess Well, I wouldn't even call him discount. Kylo Ren was a discount of Vader. This guy, everybody's calling him Smilo Ren because of his mask. It's Leslie Headland said it's supposed to be an homage to Donnie Darko, the rabbit mask that was smiling like creepily like that. These bugs, totally pointless, totally stupid. They were just like a contrived way of getting him out of there without them having to kill each other. It was dumb because the bugs would have been going after the lightsabers if they were attracted to light, right? I mean, because there's another scene where Soul, I think it's this one. Yeah, this is where Soul whips out his lightsaber and the bugs come for the lightsaber. So if if they were following that same logic, the bugs would have been coming at them the entire time. They had their lightsabers out. Cortosis. Everybody's been talking about this. The Cortosis metal that wasn't introduced into the movies. It was only introduced into the books. Darth Plagueis in particular, that book. Plagueis and his master Tenebrous were on a planet where Cortosis had been mined. And the author goes into, the properties of Cortosis, how it can F up lightsabers, just you see how it deactivates them? It just like disrupts the blade. It's a rare metal that's pretty brittle, so that's how come like she was able to knock the mask off of his face so easily, and then he's seen later repairing it. So it's temperamental, and then it's rare. But it kind of presents a problem in the narrative going forward because, like, why have other people not tapped into this resource? Because there are places where you can get it, where you can mine it. They are rare, but it's still out there and it's attainable, especially for force wielders. So people watch this and think, okay, why wasn't Cortosis used at all? And by anybody, any Jedi, Sith, the Republic, the Empire, it never came up later. Why does it only come up 132 years before the Phantom Menace, and then just never seen again in the movies? So that's another problem. I mean, I could see why Leslie Headland would want to use it just because it's an EU thing that we'll get the EU fans excited, get them thinking, oh, they're actually using EU things. But remember, when Disney first bought Lucasfilm, they said none of this stuff is canon anymore. Okay, like what we're going forward with our own story, our own canon, and it's all going to be tied together. But now that they've lost so much of the audience, now they're picking and choosing. Well, they've been doing this. They brought in Thrawn. They brought in Rook, his bodyguard, even Captain Palayan. They kept Timothy Zahn on to write more Thrawn novels, so a lot of the elements are still there, but it's not the same. Thrawn is not the same as he was, especially in Rebels and in Ahsoka. They made him pretty incompetent. I wouldn't even call him an admiral, much less a grand admiral, with how incompetent he is. In Disney Star Wars, not in EU Star Wars. In EU Star Wars, he was a force to be reckoned with. Like there was a reason like people admired this character Thrawn, even though he was a bad guy, because he was one that could outsmart all of his opponents with ease. But I digress. This show has just been, I don't know, it's been kind of a joke. Narratively, it makes very little sense. OSHA probably, I don't know, any reasonable person would have killed this guy by now. He's killed how many Jedi? 6 or 7 in front of you, including your friend Jackie and Yord, who defended you when people accused you of murder. And the show, the writers try to justify what he did. Well, at least in his eyes, to justify what he did by saying, "Oh, Yord arrested you for a crime you didn't commit." And Jackie, where would that have gone, if she had survived, if I hadn't killed her? A love unrequited, one-sided. Did not think they were setting up a romance between her and Jackie. We really didn't get much in the way of interactions between those two characters, so it's hard to say what would have happened. But according to him, like, it would have been one-sided, just from her. So good that I killed her, and I killed Yord, who arrested you, who was doing his job. He found someone standing over a dead body, so naturally you're gonna think maybe that person killed him, right? Like I said, doesn't happen often, but in those rare instances where it might happen, you gotta do your duty, okay? You're bound and sworn to protect the Republic from all threats, both foreign and domestic, so you find someone that supposedly killed someone else, you're going to arrest them, right? But because she's attracted to his big lightsaber, she doesn't kill him, right? She just listens to everything he says, takes it in, starting to identify with this guy, even though he just killed a bunch of her friends. I mean, a lot of them she might have only known like as acquaintances, but still, she killed the Jedi. She killed the Wookiee first, Kalnaka, and then he proceeded to mow down an entire squad of Jedi. No remorse. He stabbed Jackie 3 times. Let's see which one. Okay, this is where they're talking some more. He's like, "Oh, why did the Jedi kick you out?" They didn't kick me out. I left. He tells her, "They threw you away," but she just told you that she left of her own accord. He insists on knowing what happened. Like, he's trying to get under her skin, to get inside her mind and twist her to his will. Since he failed with May, I guess May flip-flopped. May was on his side at first, wanting to kill the Jedi, and then all of a sudden she wanted to turn herself into the Jedi. And then she tried to kill the Jedi. Again, made no sense. And he tried to kill May. Yeah, she said, "I failed because I failed." So, all right, the twist that everyone saw coming, they're flipping apprentices. She's going to be his apprentice, while Osha is going to be, May. I get them confused because they're exactly alike. These characters have no distinction between them. So May is going to be Soul's apprentice, I guess. Soul's going to show her what happened on the planet of the witches. And maybe May will understand where he's coming from, and then maybe they'll reach some sort of agreement, compromise, understanding. I don't know. You should have turned that lightsaber on right there and put it right through his head. Dummy. I think I don't remember if this one shows, or was it this one? I think it's this one. Those stupid bugs. Some of the fight scenes are kind of enjoyable, but it's like, do you care about any of the characters? That's stupid with the trees falling that way. They wouldn't fall like that. And I don't mind the yellow sabers. Some people don't like the yellow sabers, but I always kind of like those. Reminds me of, I think it was Nami Sunrider that had one. That's a Jedi way back in the day from the old Republic days. Yeah, this actress just has only two expressions on her face, like anger and then just stone face. I thought I uploaded the clip of Jackie getting stabbed and Yord getting his neck broken. I guess I didn't. That was crazy though. Yeah, amazing how a bunch of Jedi Knights and Masters get cut down, and Jackie is able to hold her. This Padawan, this little girl, is able to hold her own against this guy. Well, up until the part where she gets killed, but yeah, up until then, she was doing pretty well. Yeah, see, look at this. You know, just because you have two blades doesn't mean you're going to be more skilled than the other guy. Look at this craziness. Oh, broke a lightsaber. But anyway, let's look at this Leslie Headland interview. the media's in full panic mode right now. Like people are not liking the show. We gotta must defend, must call all the freaking haters, bigots, and idiots for their complaints. Let's see. Don't like this interviewer. She's kind of dumb.
So, hi, Leslie. How are you?
Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you. So, my first question is kind of off the rails already because I want to know what they tell you at Lucasfilm. Because, like, I know the dumbest argument that people have had about the show about Mandi, and I'm like, here's the thing.
Okay, his name is Ki-Adi-Mundi for one thing, and also pick a color on these fingernails.
It was deemed not canon anymore, and as someone who I know you also love a non-canon bitch in Mara Jade, what is kind of the deal with Lucasfilm and the stuff that
Leave Mara Jade out of this. Do not bring her into Disney Star Wars, please.
was canon that is now no longer canon? How do they kind of tell you what you can and cannot do with it?
Well, definitely with well, there's Pablo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hidalgo. So Pablo is always the person that I go to and say, hey,
the supposed lore master she's talking about.
I'm thinking about doing this thing. I think it works for, you know, these narrative reasons. But you let me know. You know, I know that in Legends it's this, and I know that in canon it's this, but I'm not totally up to date in terms of how you guys feel about it as a studio. So I don't know what went on with Ki-Adi-Mundi. I heard there was some drama.
Oh, she knows. She knew at the time of this interview. I'm sure she did.
It's the dumbest thing ever. It's about
that shit blew up online.
Birthday. But I was like, it's not
Is it really?
Yeah. But I was like, it's not deemed canon anymore. And I like looked that up and I was like, yeah, because it was like in a card and all this stuff.
Okay, the characters that would make sense to show Yoda for one, we already pointed that out. But according to one of the, I don't know if it's a writer or producer that said they didn't have the budget or something. Yoda wasn't quote unquote available. They could have shown. Well, if they just didn't want to use the CGI, just I don't know, something cheaper might have been a hologram of Yoda or something, a hologram of Yariel Poof or Oppo Rancisis, because both of those characters, according to Light of the Jedi, one of the High Republic novels, they were both alive 200 years before Phantom Menace. They were both members of the Jedi Council 200 years before the Phantom Menace, and this takes place 132 years before the Phantom Menace. So you for sure could show those two characters. Kiadi Mundi wasn't mentioned in that novel. I don't know if he's mentioned in any of the other ones, but yeah, they're breaking their own canon by putting him in the show because he's not even mentioned in the High Republic novels. Whatever.
But and I was like, listen, I know Leslie is like me, and we love non-canon characters.
Yeah, non-canon canon is the best kind of canon.
For like half of the characters I love, like they're not canon anymore.
They're gone. They're gone.
Oh, tell me about all the non-canon characters you know, bitch.
Jason and Jaina, they're gone. Mara Jade's gone.
my twins. But speaking of twins, great.
Oh, okay, so they know about Jason and Jaina. Jaina and Jason. All right.
Twins are always at the
So this is where she brings up the twins being a central theme of Star Wars, which we've only had 2 pairs of twins in all of Star Wars that I can think of. Yeah, Jaina and Jason and Luke and Leia.
Even Star Wars, which I do think is very cool that the show is like, yep, it's everywhere. Twins are just in Star Wars. When you guys were orchestrating May and Osha in the beginning and trying to navigate exactly how those two characters would function as twins and also like represent kind of the light and the dark as the other twins have done in the past, kind of Luke and Leia are the
Light and the dark. Only with Jaina and Jason did that even happen. I guess you could argue the brother and sister on Mortis. Those two, I guess they're considered twins, but they're just brother and sister. And there's a father. There's 3. I don't know. I think she's reaching them.
exception to the twin rule. But how did you guys kind of navigate how that would all work? Because they're not exactly here's the light and here's the dark. They both kind of have that gray area.
I think a lot of the people that watch Star Wars now, they place their, like the new fans like this chick, they place their own philosophies onto Star Wars. They think, oh, this is what it is. All right, the twins, they always represent the light and the dark, which isn't true.
That's so true, and it's definitely not a new trope to have the bad twin and the good twin, like the light twin and the dark twin, and then they switch places and then they switch back. Like that's a pretty, I would say, reliable way of telling a thematic story.
It's cheap and it's dumb.
Utilizing twin characters. But I will say, to answer your question, so much of that was a mandala. Like, as a writer, you know why you're doing something thematically. You can definitely justify, especially a choice like that one. You can also justify it character-wise, narratively-wise, personally, feeling bifurcated as a person, as a human, as a woman. Like, you can make all
some of the stuff she said, it's just like word salad, makes no sense.
All of those choices, but somebody has to actually do it. And I felt like Amandla, when she understood the breadth of what she would be doing, dug so deep into both of the girls early.
How? We don't get anything about these two personally, like their personalities.
Early on deciding their walks, like early on deciding, what their sort of animal familiar might be if they had one.
What? What are you talking about?
Deciding who was born first, who was born second. Going into a bunch of really grand.
What does it matter who was born first and who was born second? It's so stupid.
Annular thing that I was very impressed by it. I don't think the whole theme wouldn't work if her performance wasn't how great as it is.
It's not great.
Yeah. Well, and it really isn't like it makes the
She doesn't look totally convinced.
you know the witch, the third episode with the witches with Destiny, right?
Destiny, yeah.
You should really have this stuff written down before you give an interview.
I was like, I know it's not one of the slashes because then it's day and night. Like, I was going through all the episode names in my head. But I love in Destiny where it is you that's where you see their differences the most, because it's like when you see them and they're older, they're kind of like,
Oh yeah, I got you. One of them says the Jedi are good. The other one says the Jedi are bad. That's the difference we got. One of them says, "I'm gonna kill you." So okay, we got that difference. One of them's a psycho. The other one, I guess, isn't. Well, at least not with their kids.
more comfortable in themselves, and they're like, oh, my sister is actually alive. That's crazy. And we don't see the like tension that exists when we see them as kids. When you guys were working on making sure that those twins did have that energy, so it played in, how did you kind of navigate explaining all of this to like these young
See, I watched a bunch of this. EFAP covered it. They covered it for a couple hours, but I'm not gonna take that long. But she goes into the acting of the kids, and I think Leslie Headland, without saying it explicitly, admits that the kids' acting wasn't good.
young girls being like, okay, well, eventually you're gonna play these two who one thinks they're dead, and it's a whole fight. But we have to understand it here in order for it to work when we see them reunited.
Well, we were so lucky to have Leia and Loren, who are just
Oh, watch what she says when she explains why she got one actor to play both characters, the older version.
both so gifted and so natural. And obviously, like, whenever you put a kid actor in Star Wars, your heart worries for them. You're just like even as we were doing the auditions, I was like, what am I doing to these young women? But I think that we really lucked out.
EFAP pointed this out. You could have just written it so you'd never had to use kids. You could have done that. You are the writer of the show, creator of the show.
With like we really needed them sort of more than they needed the job, I think, because like you said, we needed natural, brilliant, talented. Now I sound like that Lady Gaga. Not afraid to reference or not reference, vomit on it, put it in a blender. So that was how I directed them, was by just quoting that Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
No, Kay directed them, Kogonada directed them, and he was so wonderful with guiding their performances, because they're young girls, but they're also twins. They already sort of have that natural connection with each other and also friction with each other, and then their personalities are so distinct, because I think that's what happens with sisters as well, twins or not, is just you start to react to my closest in age sister and I are we're like just over a year is between us, and we almost felt like twins sometimes because we always shared a room and all of that. So much of my personality is like in reaction to her. So but it's good. It's interesting that you asked about that though too, because we decided to cast fraternal twins, not just because Leia and Loren were so great, but I actually auditioned several identical twins, and it was I cut them together in making the decision. And with identical twins, it was very difficult to tell them apart. Really to
Somebody should have told her that identical twins do a lot of times look exactly alike.
To track those types of the performances that you're talking about, the differentiation between the two of them.
That's why you give them different haircuts, or if it's guys, give one a beard. There's ways you can tell them apart. Like give one an earring or whatever. In this case, one of them's got a mark on her forehead, but you can't see it because of her fucking bangs.
So so it was one of those things that I was like, okay, we do have this adult actor playing both roles. But if we don't
Or just give them name tags. It's up to you.
have this differentiation between the two of them, I'm not sure we're going to understand how important the differences between them are, and that's something an adult actor can.
That's where you give them two distinct personalities. You give one of them a different mode of speech than the other one. You give them different mental tics. You know, there's ways other than superficial ways. There's ways you can make them different.
Especially,
but instead, their personalities are pretty much the same, except that one of them spontaneously will go nuts, but most of the time she just looks stoic like the other one.
If they're a genius like Amanda, but an adult actor can do that. I think it's harder for child actors to emulate two separate performances when they're in the same room with each other, and they already have the experience of being twins, and they already have the experience of most twins in Hollywood, they're playing the same character, they're being switched out, so they're used to doing exactly what the other twins did. So long-winded answer, but that's really all the stuff that went into it. It was very difficult to navigate, and it was really hard, and I'm really grateful that I had the actors that I did, that I had Kogonada, I had Jen Bryan. Yeah, I could talk about it forever. So many acting choices were made, but so many character design choices were made as well to differentiate the girls in their adulthood as well.
Yeah. Well, that was my favorite thing.
Yeah, I didn't do a great job of that because I still can't tell them apart.
About episode 5 was when May cuts her hair, and I'm like, girl, you still got that thing on your forehead. You move your hair.
Oh, that hair cutting scene was horrible. Cringe. I don't know if I have a clip of that. I'll have to look.
You got. They could just move your hair. They could just move, and they'd be like,
huh.
She's like, it's okay. It's interesting. It plays out very interestingly in the next episode. I don't know if it was the greatest idea, but she was definitely.
She was thinking.
Okay, she admits that was a horrible idea. Right there.
I got this, and I'm like,
yeah. We'll put it this way: she was thinking emotionally. She was definitely.
She was thinking emotionally. Basil's like, "Here I come!" Like,
Basil's like, "I got it." A little worried. Somebody sent me. I got a lot of tweets from the episode 5 because people were just sending me a bunch of screenshots, and one of them was like, "It was like, I hope Pip's okay," and I was like, or like, "I hope Pip comes back" or something. And
are we really worried about that little iPad that she has? Really, all those Jedi getting killed? Nobody gives a crap about them. We're worried about the little device.
I was like, he's there. Like maybe it was Basil picked him up.
I was well aware because I was like, well, my favorite character is dead, which is a Wookiee. And so
Bruh, the Wookiee was hardly even in it. They didn't give him any character. How was he your favorite character? Just because it's a Wookiee? Okay.
I was like, I'm going to follow the other furry little thing around.
It's not the last time you see him, though. It's not the last time you see Kel-Nat.
So that was the flashback, promise.
Yeah, so
good, because I love a Wookiee. They're my favorite characters in all of Star Wars, and I was like,
name 3.
Cool, this one's a Jedi, and then he died.
And it was like, bye, off screen death. The worst kind of death, yeah.
Which the first time I watched that episode,
yes, that is the worst kind of death, actually. Yes, she admits that too. So why'd you do it?
I was like, oh, great, Kalnock is coming back in the next episode, and because me and my roommate fully had missed the Kalnock was dead in the chair.
Yeah, that's right. That was so dumb. They ended one episode with the Wookiee, like promising you, okay, you're gonna see a lot of this Wookiee in the next episode, and then dead. He's seen for like a minute, and he's dead.
It was like, oh, he's gone. Like I was like, I missed that he was sitting in the chair.
He's not. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead, baby. He's dead.
Oh, he's dead, baby. Sorry.
I was so. Well, I won't bore you with that story, but yeah. Please ask me questions.
Well, but and so you did lead up to episode 5, which most shows you have to give them time to kind of grow, and in this one,
you'd think someone working for $1 billion corporation could afford better Wi-Fi.
Grow in a way that like I sent you this.
And
but
I mean,
my
both of them, by
brother
the way.
called me on the phone after having a baby to talk to me about Manny Jacinko's arms because he was like very team the
Oh, here we go with Oshamir.
the master is going to be Manny Jacinko, and I was like,
It's the new Raylo thing.
Yes.
oh, I think it's gonna be one of her moms.
Oh, by the way, they keep saying he's supposed to be like a Knight of Ren, which is probably going to end up true. They keep playing Kylo Ren's theme. I think I had a clip that I could play, maybe in a little bit.
Or one of their moms, or it's gonna be this, and then he was like, "No, I'm 100% Manny Jacinko." And then as soon as I saw the arms, I was like, "Damn, my brother was correct."
Baby. Well, it's interesting because of the reveal of Manny, quote unquote. It was interesting working on the show. There were several writers, cast, crew. Well, we've got to preserve the surprise. This is a big reveal here, and I was like, I just feel like as a fan, if you announce that cast, which we did back in like 2 years ago or whatever it was. If I see Manny Jacinto as third on the call sheet, basically, I'm like secret bad guy. Like I don't even need to know like what the log line to the show is.
Secret bad guy? Is that what you said?
I'm like, oh right, the secret bad guy. He'll be secret bad guy, and something else will happen. See what we'll see how it goes down.
So she's typecasting this guy already.
So, but I was actually, because the central mystery of the show is much more about Sol and Osha's relationship, or Sol.
Well, the guy playing Chimere, he is a good actor. Like him and the guy who plays Sol, they're the only two good actors in this entire series, so far as I'm concerned. I don't even think the Trinity actor is that good. I've seen the latest Matrix. It was horrible.
Sol's relationship to the twins. The reveal of the Master Macer to me was basically I don't want to say a red herring, but essentially it was like here's the sub mystery, I would guess, so that you would get in the space as a viewer, specifically a Star Wars fan, and think, oh, they want me to like care about this for several more episodes.
Yeah, she pulled the opposite of red herring. She put the obvious villain in front of everybody and said, okay, you're going to think this guy is the guy.